Great. Good morning, beautiful people. I hope you're all having a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world. Today, I'd like to talk to you about ADHD, ADD, and this is coming from someone who knows the journey. I'm Katie Jolly, a Dr. Amen licensed brain health trainer, and I was a late diagnosis ADHD at 28. So wherever you are, wherever your people are who are experiencing ADHD, I've been there too and understand the path. So I know all about the medications. I've been on all of them. And as a naturopath, I've also tried and succeeded with some of all of the natural health methods as well. But the real change for me in experiencing ADHD in my life was when I studied the brain under Dr. Daniel Amen. And I wanted to share some of the information with you today about ADHD, ADD, where it actually sits in the brain, and what you can start to do to empower yourself and your loved ones if you have this beautiful little label on your forehead. Okay. Because we all know, and for those of you who are actually taking medication, medication is one part of the puzzle. And then quite often you have side effects that happen from those as well. But there are other lifestyle factors that you can start implementing to really help your brain and the brain of those that you love around you. So I'm going to share this with you so that you can start to understand what part of the brain is actually impacted with ADHD and ADD. And Dr. Amen has found that there are actually 7 types. So we're just looking at one main area, which is the prefrontal cortex. This is the front part of your brain. And it's really interesting when I found this out because it is the last part of your brain to develop. And they found that in females, it's on average about 25 that this part of the brain is really developed, and 28 in males. So it's the CEO of the brain. It's your CEO, and it controls focus, organization, problem solving, planning, which we know can be a problem, and all the executive functions, which involve sustaining attention, being able to stay focused, being able to avoid mistakes, and also not engaging in conflict, because what can happen as an ADHD human is that we have this cascade of emotions that happen within us. And quite often we can have an outburst. And what I found, especially after my head injury, is that I didn't have a filter. I didn't have a society filter. So whatever was on my mind came straight out my mouth. And because of this, because of any sort of head trauma, this can also spark ADHD symptoms as well. So if you've been diagnosed, or if you have these symptoms of short attention, lack of follow through, impulse control, hyperactivity, then there is actually a pathway out. Medication can really, really help. And what you've got to remember is that with ADHD or any type of label, it's on a spectrum. It's this beautiful rainbow. So you might be really, really severe ADHD, or you may have a little bit of distractibility. But what they've found in clinical research is if we focus on the prefrontal cortex, then we can actually improve. We can improve our symptoms. And this is what gives us all hope. Medication is one pathway, but it's not the only pathway. Since I've been studying, as I was on medication for a really long time, and since studying under Dr. Daniel Amen and implementing the protocols, I've been off my medication for quite a while now, but it's about being disciplined with the other lifestyle factors. So let's have a little bit of a look at what you can actually do. So what Dr. Amen has found is that goal setting is one of the key things for ADD and ADHD. And if you think about it, we tend to be the humans that get super excited at the beginning of a project. And sometimes, there's this pattern of lack of follow through because the dopamine wears off. we're feeling a bit bored, we start to look for alternatives. And this is where goal setting can really help. And what I found with the head injury, this was something I learned to recover, is that it's not just about having these massive projects or massive goals. You might have a small daily goal that you are going to hit, and you write it down the night before, and that can help to focus you in the morning. What I've heard and I experienced myself with people with ADD or ADHD is that sometimes in the morning they wake up and they really just lose motivation for the day. So you have to create that motivation by setting a goal for yourself. And depending where you are, if you've got children, you can actually work with them from a very, very young age to help them to set goals for the next day, even if it's making their bed. They get a little reward trigger in the brain by just feeling like something has been achieved. Now, the other research that has come through for our label, right, is that a high protein, low carbohydrate diet works because this helps to fire the prefrontal cortex. Now, this comes with a warning because Dr. Amen, one of the ADHD types, which is what I have, right, is over-focused ADHD. And we tend to get more fixated on things. And this is what I've always been like since a young child. So it's almost because ADHD and autism can sit quite closely together, we can go onto medication and it locks the brain on, it locks the prefrontal cortex on, and then you start seeing this pattern of becoming over focused and fixated on things. And for this type, going on a keto diet or an Atkins diet or something like that, which is very low carb, can actually trigger more of this behavior, which I found when I studied as a keto coach years ago. And I found that I became very, very militant and rigid alongside the medication. Now, the other thing that can help is high intensity exercise. If you or yourself, you or your child, right, you want to get them moving daily and really getting puffing because this floods our brain with oxygen and it can help those distractibility symptoms as well. And as I say to my clients, it's almost sometimes with ADHD, it's like we've got too much energy in our body. So we need to actually move on a daily basis, and that can help us to slow down and function. The other thing is not getting hungry. This will be a whole other section to unpack because nutrition is so important. If you have any sort of mental health label, I can't stress to you enough how important it is to get your nutrition right. Meditation can help. And I found when I started doing this, I couldn't really sit still. So yoga was a really good form of moving meditation for me. It may be running, it may be dancing, whatever helps you to just still your mind. So those are just some little hacks that you can start to implement if you have a diagnosis of ADHD. And if you need help at any stage, then please reach out to me. I totally get where you are. I'm still an ADHD human and have to rein that wild horse in. But what I have found over time and working with people that have this label, you've got awesome superpowers. It's just a matter of untapping them. So have a great day and keep shining. If I can stop it. And I can't stop it. Have a great day, people.